hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chillin with Quilleon. We are super excited today to be able to chat with one of our Bridges from School to Work alumni, students, and I'm excited to be able to learn from him about his experience with Bridges from School to Work, about his job, and all the things that he's learning each and every day, and the importance of this program to his life. So with that, we'll get started with having our conversation. I'm excited to introduce Jacob Paz-Solano to all of you. He is a super motivated, driven young man with big dreams, lots of goals, balancing college with work and doing it so well. He has a diverse background that has so many different experiences in teaching daycare and managing hospitality services. He's overseen a lot of different areas of operations. And so I know he's super eager to continue to have his career grow. And I know there's big things in store for Jacob moving forward. So with that, we'll get right into the conversation and say, welcome, Jacob.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Well, I'm so excited to be able to talk with you today. And now, first, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about you?
Yeah, so like David said, my name is Jacob Paz-Solano. I'm currently a sophomore at Citi Tech, majoring in business technology of fashion. I am all set to be graduating this May. And I'm also a lead sales cashier at the New York Mets. And yeah.
That's awesome. Now, tell me, Jacob, what was your very first job?
My very first job was actually when I started working at the New York Mets after having prior worked as an intern at daycare.
Okay. And how was it? What was it like working in daycare?
Initially, it was hard, given that I was juggling two different roles in a way, because I was managing these 4 or 5-year-olds that I was like, I genuinely had no idea what to do, but like with my managers and like supervisor support, and I was able to like learn, and it kind of like refreshed that parenting slash childhood, um, relive it in a way. So that was kind of, it was challenging, but I managed to get my way there.
Okay. That sounds great. And I guess too, I know you're going to school.
Mhm.
Can you share about what you're studying?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, my major is business technology of fashion, which has a lot to do with like how like with garment construction and like all that what people see and wear nowadays, and analyzing what people's cultures, people's backgrounds, people's beliefs, and um having that seem having working that working with working with customers and working with clients is like a really big aspect of it, um and that's where my hospitality comes in.
How did you get interested in fashion, Jacob? Is that something you've always been interested in, or where did that come from?
Yeah, so initially, no. I was When I first applied to college, I got into City Tech. I applied with my major as psychology,
Sure.
um, which was interesting. But after Bridges helped me realize that psychology wasn't the one for me, like wasn't the right major for me. After meeting the one of the youth employment specialists that majored in psychology, um, after like talking to her, after meeting her with her in person, um, that's when I decided to switch my major to a more creative major. And after like talking to my parents about it, after talking to like friends and family, after talking to my even my managers, they're like, yeah, 100%, Jacob, you better do fashion. And it was just at that point, it was just no brainer. And I just switched it, and yeah.
Jacob, what is your dream job?
Yeah, so my dream job is working as a fashion consultant or fashion advisor. Um, Only because I feel like a lot of times, um, people do struggle when they reach a certain age. Um, they feel like they want to upgrade their style or they want to improve their style, when what they wear on a day to day basis. So I feel like having that person to go to is like kind of relying on support, and that's where my background in hospitality can come in really handy, because I mean, I enjoy working with people, and I enjoy like getting to know people, seeing new faces and working with new faces. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I like that. Okay, let's go back a little bit, Jacob,
Mhm,
just in your past before you reached out to Bridges to
mhm.
get in the job search. What was going on? What was the job search? What did it look like? And was it difficult? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was very difficult given the fact that I was coming from a when I before I even reached out to Bridges, I was in high school. Shout out to Lou for actually helping me in finding my purpose in the job world. So shout out to her. I was a sophomore,
Okay.
about to head into junior. That's when she helped me find my purpose. Um, and I was able to, given that I have a background of having epilepsy, it was really challenging to even know the fact that someone an employer wanted to hire someone like me.
Mhm.
Given that I never had any prior work experience or any intern experience or anything, any work experience related um, job. So after after finding these, after finding out about Bridges, it was just a matter of applying and relaying that to, after having two um two internship experiences that would help me, like, okay, put my foot in the job market world, where I kind of have a sense that, okay, this is what the job market looks like. This is what employers and hiring managers and um these supervisors are looking for, and how to like professionally communicate that, like, work related stuff and all that. Um and yeah.
Okay. So how did Bridges help you with that? Like, do you remember what that looked like from the yes in terms of how they helped you navigate that or prepare for a job interview?
Yeah, so that's when, fast forward a couple of months, I was working with Liz. I She got to know me. She was like, "Oh," I introduced myself to her, and that's when I told her that I had epilepsy, and it was challenging for me to actually get a job after having prior to to internship experiences. Um, and it was just a matter of um she prepped me both virtually and in person, on what to say, what not to say, how to stand out more than the other candidates. She helped me apply through the actual application, so I got to know and I got to see what an application actually is. Because when I applied on for like SYP, which is where I got my first ever internship,
What is SYP?
summer youth employment program.
Okay.
Yeah. When I got through, the application for summer youth was completely different. And that in itself was like um a bit of a challenge because I've never seen these questions before, and it's being like thrown at you. Um, but I was able, with Liz's help, I was able to navigate and to like how to answer these questions. And once I was able to sit for an interview, it was my third interview because I interviewed prior to prior to getting my position at the Mets. Um, I interviewed 3 times for different companies. Um, and I was very fortunate enough to even have a job. And now, having worked at the Mets for 3 years now, um, it's been a blessing.
Well, I know that you contribute so much to the culture at the New York
Mhm.
Mets and working there every day. I know it was a big week this past week, Major League Baseball starting. Tell me about your job and tell me about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said before, I'm a lead sales cashier at the New York Mets. Um, Basically, what it is that um, it's just greeting customers, greeting Mets fans, and assisting with purchases, and answering food related questions slash concerns that the fans might have, whether it's like if they're allergic to nuts, if they before they even purchase, they want to make sure if it's nut free or if it's gluten free or if it's dairy free. And half of the time it's just more of like getting to know the fan on the personal professional level. um and just the atmosphere at the stadium is just so friendly and so understanding that sometimes a fan will be waiting at the register and I'm restocking a fridge, um and I'll tell them, oh, give me a second, I'll be right with you.
Sure.
And then they'll say, "Oh yeah, take your time. Don't worry about it. I respect the hustle." And I'm like, that's just that like 2 minute interaction is just so wholesome and so genuine that nowadays I feel like it's hard to even find a job that's that understanding and um that like nice in a workplace that's so like high energy, high volume, like you could be doing like 5 things at once, and the fan will understand that, hey, I'm doing something, I'll be right with you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I pretty much work with different people from diverse backgrounds, and um having that experience with working with people with foreign exchange students, with um, Asian people, with Hispanic people, with like all different race and ethnicities. I feel like, I mean, I enjoy working with people, and it's just one of the main reasons why I decided to have keep this job for 3 years now.
3 years is incredible.
Yeah.
And I know all of us, our bridges, are so proud of
Mhm.
you and the commitment you bring every single day to your work. But I also know you're going to school and,
Yes.
you're pursuing your degree.
Hmm.
Tell me, what is it like balancing having this amazing job with the Mets and helping customers and doing all those things while also balancing the demands of, pursuing your higher education?
It's challenging. Honestly, I did face that burden of not relaying to my managers that, hey, I'm in college. Do expect me to call out for this day and this time because I'm in college. Like, I can't, I can't be at 2 places at once.
Right.
And know that the one of the reasons that I call out is because I'm in school. And I was very fortunate enough that one of my managers actually went to the college I go to now, um, way back and graduated way back in 2018. So I kind of use her as a stepping stool in case if like I ever run into any issues, which I haven't, but I mean, I I would like you never know. So most of the times my college schedule changes every semester. So I be sure to relay that to my managers, and for the most part, they are understanding. I mean, it's really, yes, I did face that burden of like, not, of like, how am I going to tell these managers, oh, or how am I going to be doing college and work at the same time? Um, but when I started, I was in high school when I started, about to graduate high school. And then I was a freshman in college, um, going in while I was still working. So like, and now that I'm about to like graduate, it's most of my growth slash school related growth is kind of shared with the Mets because I do spend a lot of my time at college and at the Mets. So it's been such an amazing opportunity, and it's been a such a great workplace vibe, when it comes to just working with um these people, working with my managers and having that like understanding, and they're so like having that understanding between managers and myself is just so that undeniable support that I have from them.
Sure. I think culture wins all around. So it's
Mhm.
wonderful to have a flexible supervisor and employer to be able to help you continue to pursue education and have a meaningful job. So Jacob, tell me, do you work for the Mets directly, or are you an employee of Aramark? How does that work? I can't remember.
Yeah. So I work for Aramark, but Aramark is a partner of the Mets. So technically, I work for both of them. If I really think about it, um, given that they're two separate companies, but like if someone were to ask me, um, w- like who do you work for, or like where do you work, I would just, in a casual conversation, I would just say I'm a lead sales cashier at the New York Mets. And I wouldn't say Aramark, even though that's a company that I work for
Sure.
through Mets, um, because that's just something that I I've just been told and I've been accustomed to, and I've been saying it for the past like 3 years. So yeah.
No, well, I really appreciate, understanding what that looks like, and I
Mhm.
know on behalf of, Bridges from School to Work, like, we are so grateful to companies like Aramark, and then certainly to the New York Mets for working with us as partners and hiring our Bridges participants. What would you say, Jacob, like, what advice would you give to a high school student or
Mhm.
another student that's looking for their next step and having challenges about reaching out to Bridges? What advice would you give to them?
Yeah. I would say for someone in high school about like struggling to find their purpose in in the workforce, I would just say have go for it. Honestly, you never know your purpose until you experience it, right? I remember way back when I started, I had all these questions when I met with Liz. Um, I had all these questions that I was concerned about. And I didn't know what my purpose was until when I started the job at the Mets. Um, I was very lucky enough to actually win an award for the company.
Great.
that I was not expecting whatsoever. That was like the least thing on my mind. I was like not expecting that. And that moment just ref- that refreshed and like reflected on me that, okay, I do have a purpose. Sometimes in life that you don't know what what you're going into until you experience it. I feel like a lot of the times, um, I tell people this, look, like my coworkers, the people that I know, um, just take a stab at it. Like, the least you could expect is an acknowledgement or like an award or something along the lines of that. Um, and I, when I started, I remember when I started at the Mets, my high school teachers, my former high school teachers, went literally crazy after they found out that I won an award for the company. And it was just like a full circle moment. Um, that just even though a person has a disability, that doesn't mean that you can't achieve great things and be as you can't be as good as like people without disabilities.
Mhm.
Um, and having that reassurance and having that like that workplace environment is so honored and so like being there, being physically present and having that undeniable support is just something that I feel like a lot of high school seniors struggle with nowadays. Um, and I feel like they would have to like just put your foot in and hope for the best.
Has your disability ever impacted your work?
Yes, many times. There was this one time I was on my shift and a fan came up to me asking about a nut allergy. And my supervisor came to me asking me to restock the fridge. And then my one of my coworkers asked me to help out with the register because the line was long. And I'm like, uh, I was just standing there. I'm like, that's where I had my epilepsy. And I'm like, I spaced out. I'm
Mhm.
like, cause a lot of times, given that the New York Mets, it's a high volume. There's a lot of fans. There's like 45,000 fans. Given that if it's a high volume like environment, and I'm on my shift, and three separate people are telling me to do three different things. It was a bit of a challenge because I did encounter some situations that my epilepsy did come in play, but I that's when Liz um, told me about the filing for accommodations at work, and all I had to do was just relay that to one of the division managers at Citi Field, and they were just so understanding that we just sorted out like um, one of the like how to communicate that to him in like the most like discreet slash professional way. And yeah, it was just a matter of just having having to be sure that they knew and like HR knowing that, hey, I have seizures um at unknown. I don't know when my epilepsy is going to kick in. I don't know how long they're going to be. All I know is that I do have seizures, and they were just so understanding. They did ask me a few questions about my episodes, but other than that, it was just a matter of just having that space and being able to go back to work um, in like uh, in a coherent and professional manner.
Sure. I appreciate you sharing that with me, Jacob. So, in terms of like bridges from school to work
Mhm.
and encouraging other employers to hire,
Mm.
and giving advice to other high school students and young adults with disabilities about working with Bridges. I know that you are a new Bridges from School to Work ambassador, right?
Mhm.
So, what is your message to everyone about hiring, about working with Bridges from School to Work?
Honestly, given that I've worked with Bridges for as a participant, just be open to it. Just be open to your youth employment specialist and relay your concerns/questions to your youth employment specialist. And just being open to them is my like number one thing that I tell um Bridges participants. Just be open to it and know that your youth employment specialists are there to help you, and they're there to address any questions and concerns you may have, um whether that's your disability, your just general question you may have before even starting the job, or job preferences, um or if it's just um work related questions, whether it's how to get there, or how to talk to managers, or how to develop that professional relationship between managers and supervisors, which I feel like a lot of times nowadays it's very hard. People like don't really know how to professionally talk to hiring managers and supervisors,
Mhm.
which I feel like a lot of the times is a key skill that you need to have when it comes to relaying important information such as disability concerns, or accommodations at work, or preferences in, if it's like a stadium, preferences in work settings slash work stand or work environment, and relaying any work related questions slash concerns um, to managers. Because I there was this one time that someone I know that was allergic to 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 beef, and one of the main food items that we have at Citi Field is composed of beef. So that's when I told him, "Hey, you would have to talk to a hiring manager. You would have to talk to Andrew, or you would have to talk to Yoslin, or someone like even Tamika. You would have to talk to someone, um, because if you're allergic to it, you can't be around that food item." And that's when I told him, "Hey," I gave him advice and everything on how to speak to them based on what my knowledge from Liz, and having that like background of it. And I was just, hey, just tell them, go for it. I mean, I know it's scary because talking to managers is definitely not easy. It's definitely not like like it's not easy as compared to talking to your friend, or talking to your parents, or talking to a professor or teacher. So that is like my big advice for just people in general looking for a job, and people that are struggling, that like just the main general advice I have for them.
I like that. I appreciate you sharing that for sure. Tell me, what is your favorite? What's your favorite thing about work? About having a job? Like, what does that mean for you in your life?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Um, so my favorite thing about job is just working with new people. Honestly, I'm very fortunate enough to have work at the same location every time I'm on call and I'm on my shift. So that's really nice, and I really know what to do and how to do it and how to like move forward. Um, so that's really nice. Um, I really enjoy like working with people. Sometimes I'm working with an 80-year-old of a cashier, um, and I would just have to like I enjoy like just working with people in general. I enjoy helping people a lot. Even though sometimes at the stadium I I got hired as a lead sales cashier, but a lot of times I would have help the food service helper. put the food at the window. Um, so in a way, it's like kind of helping people, and that's where my hospitality skills come in handy. Um, and just working with seeing familiar faces, I was very fortunate enough to have the same supervisor that I have now for 2 years. So um, when it was when I first saw her after 2, 3 months of not seeing her, it was like reuniting with my best friend that I haven't seen for in like 5 years type situation. She has seen my work, well, like what how I work and what how I do my work, and she's like so understanding, so like she knows that I will do anything and everything she tells me to do. Um, and it's just a matter of just working with people and like have what I enjoy most other than like working with people is just the environment of the Mets and how understanding the fans are. And when something goes out of hand, like the kiosk not shutting down randomly on us in the middle of while we're taking an order, it's like that's out of our hands. And other than telling the supervisor, but they're just so understanding that um, we could just we have to think fast and like find a different way of entertaining them, which is kind of interesting. And like working in like such a high paced environment and facing in shift challenges and complications.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm sure that your supervisor really appreciates having someone like you that works so hard to make it great for the fans of the New York Mets. All right. So now here's an important question for me. If I go to a New York Mets game, what's my go-to order? What should I order for food?
Oh, that's a great question. I would just say go for the classic, the tenders and fries, only
Okay.
because one, they're not made of eggplants. I don't think they are. Um, and or just the the classic nachos helmet,
Oh,
which
I love
contains
nachos.
cheese and like beans and like all the meat and everything. The Mets actually update every once in a while, or I think it's when the season ends, they update their menu. So you really never know what to expect, which is kind of the reason why I think coming from an employee slash fan slash yeah, um, why I think that like builds their engagement slash attention whilst including their like dietary restrictions. Which I feel like a lot of times is so hard to find when you're going to these fast food places, whether it's like Chipotle or McDonald's or something along the lines of that.
What kind of season do you think the Mets are going to have this year? Do you have any forecast for us?
Honestly, no. I honestly don't even know. I mean, honestly, when I first started at Citi Field, I was very fortunate enough that the 2024 season, um, was a hit. It was just absolute a banger. That I actually ended up working off season. Yeah, off season. That they made it to playoffs, and it was just like I was working these hours past the normal season. Um, Fast forward to the 2025 season, they were one step away from making it to playoffs. So that's when like the normal season was my last date of employment, and I went about that. For this season, I honestly don't even know. I mean, we'll just have to see as we progress, given
Yeah.
that the fact the season just started. Um, and it's just a matter of just seeing how they do. Hopefully they do make it up to playoffs, and um, who knows, maybe even win the championship. Who knows?
The World Series, that would be
Mhm.
great, right? Do you have a favorite player, or is there a player that you'd love to meet on the Mets?
Honestly, my favorite player left the Mets. So, uh, and if we're saying me, if I had to pick one, would be Boba. I want to meet Boba because I feel like when I watch his press conference on YouTube, um, when I was in college on my lunch break, uh, I feel like a lot of like he's just so genuine and so like he's just so him and so like him and like his press conference was just so like I just like resonated with him through a screen kind of. But it was just a matter of just wanting to meet him if I ever have the chance to meet him.
Oh, that's great. Well, I guess Boba, if you're listening, you got a fan in Jacob. He'd like to meet you. Uh, Jacob, is there anything else you want to share with me, or something that we haven't covered here today?
No, not really.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you speaking with me, and I hope that uh, if you are a student with a disability that's looking for more support in trying to help get a job and figure out what your next steps are, I hope you will reach out to Bridges from School to Work on Jacob's advice. And we're super excited, Jacob, to have you as a part of our Bridges from School to Work family, continuing as one of our ambassadors. And I look forward to continuing to see your success, Jacob, both in your degree and at work.
Thank you.